Since we last spoke, you mentioned Auburn recruiting trending up. Jeremiah Cobb committed, of course, the running back. I think he's going to be a star. I think you do too, from Montgomery. He committed this past Friday. And then on July 4th, Karmello English, the talented wide receiver from Central Phoenix City. Adding those two offensive pieces, what does it mean for this class?
Well, I think optically it means a ton. I mean, it's kind of like when Harsin took over, there's like two things that immediately came to mind. One, upgraded offensive recruiting, and that might still be TBD. But two, it was like keep local recruits home. I mean, Gus Malzahn and company did a great job, but that was really the main recruiting, besides offensive tackles, that was the main recruiting negative, was like, can you recruit Montgomery? What about Auburn Opelika? What about Phoenix City into Columbus, Georgia? That whole triangle, if you will, that was checked in a huge way early in July with these two verbal commitments. And I think on top of that, getting a Central Phoenix City kid is a big deal. I do know, I'm familiar with that community. I do know kind of an Auburn contingent that was like, will Coach Patrick Nix send a player to Auburn? And look, Pat is great. He's been around forever. If anyone understands the business side of all of this, it's him.
Sure.
And he's not going to hold that grudge. But still, it's one of those, until it happens, you kind of never know. And it obviously happened. So I do think optically huge news for Auburn. And then two really good players on top of that. Like you said, Jeremiah Cobb is a superstar. I think he's a 3-down back. He's built today for the collegiate game. Yeah. You can give it to him in between the tackles. You certainly can utilize him in space and out of the backfield as a receiver. He's already checked all those boxes. Head-to-head win versus Clemson for a kid they really wanted. That's another huge optical check mark there. And then with English, a productive physical wide receiver who's got a little bit of juice. He's a punt returner. He plays inside and outside. There's some polish within his game. Some of the elements that we really need to see on that Auburn wide receiver core that, is looked at as kind of a weakness going into 2022. So satisfying a great position of need like wide receiver and then winning a monster head-to-head battle with the Clemson Tigers, I think is optically as good as it could have gone, aside from landing Brock Glenn at this point. Those two were about the next best things for Auburn. So to get them back-to-back, I thought was huge.
And this class, John, I mean, obviously you want more than 4 guys, but all 4 of the guys in this class, the 2 we just mentioned, and Terrance Love, the defensive back from Georgia, Bradyn Joiner, the 4-star offensive guard, they're all unanimous 4-stars across all of the scouting services. I mean, as far as the quality goes, Auburn has 4 really good players that could start. They have a path to playing time to start in their first 2 seasons on the Plains, which I think is huge, but you need more of these guys.
No doubt. You have to have more. And all those guys bring a lot of varsity experience already. I think that's another critical element of guys playing early. Talent is, of course, a part of that. But, have you already shown up on the biggest stages? And obviously Montgomery Catholic's gone on huge runs. Central Phoenix City was in the state title game at the 7A level last year. Auburn High School, of course, another program that has been to the Super 7. So I think you're getting a lot of experience on top of that pure talent in state. So those are again 2 big boxes to check for the Tigers. But yeah, you definitely need more volume here going